Fabulously Happy People cast. I'm Sophia Lemon, and I'm sitting down today with Leah Vandolder. How's it going, Leah?
It is going awesome, Sophia. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited to have this chat with you today.
Me too. I have my notebook. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to get all ready.
So prepped. I'm just going off the cuff today.
Oh, we're talking about like nutrition and everything, and I thought it'd be great around about New Year's because people are, I'm sure, going to have questions about like, wait a minute, how do I get myself together to like be healthy in 2024? But really, it's just a
Totally.
selfish thing. So I can make all of my notes
What's
for
that?
myself. It's really a
Oh,
selfish thing. It's all for myself.
but that's okay because if you're thinking these things, then other people are too.
Good point. Very good point. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I did mention nutrition. So why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do and how you do
Yeah.
it and why you do it?
Why I do it, that's a good one. Well, a little bit about me. So my name's Leah Vandolder. I have been a registered dietitian for the last decade, and I started off in a weight loss clinic. That was my very first job. And I quickly started realizing that the conversations that I was having with my clients were a little bit about food, but a lot more around emotions and how to change behavior and how to become aware of the self-sabotage and how to overcome that. And I'm helping people change their lifestyle for the long haul, and behavior change is involved in that. And it can be uncomfortable because there's a lot of inward reflection, and food can be the cover up for a lot of difficult emotions, even for all sorts of good emotions too, right? People live or people eat when they're happy, when they're sad, when they're pissed off, when they're discouraged. And I have really found passion in helping people better understand themselves, feeling more in the power seat, making better choices, things that make them feel good. So that really is my why, because at the end of the day, there is nothing that makes me happier, Sophia, than seeing empowered, vibrant, healthy, energetic people out there in the world. Because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And I absolutely love seeing how, leveling up your nutrition is just that gateway into leveling up all other areas within your life.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Oh my goodness. Okay. I heard you saying just we eat when we're happy, when we're sad, when we're angry. I'm like, mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm,
Check. Check. Check.
yeah, yeah. It's so human, right? It's just so human.
And I am always so baffled by how many people just don't understand nutrition at all. Like, I feel like we must have had it drilled into our heads when we were kids that vegetables, like, you have to eat them. They're good for you. But there's people who
Yeah.
don't know that. Like, I was watching, what
Um,
was it? Jamie Oliver, he was in a city in the States, apparently the fattest city in the States, and he was talking to them about nutrition, teaching them how to cook for themselves and overhauling because they were the most obese city.
mm,
And I was
hmm.
like, you guys don't know what a tomato looks like? Like, he'd like hold up vegetables to the kids and be like, what is this? And they wouldn't have a clue. And I was like, what? So there's like
Yeah.
people who legitimately don't know how to feed themselves. And that's alarming. So, what brought you to this place where you want to help people with food, basically?
Yeah, I mean, that goes back. I'll sum it up real quick, but as I've gotten older, I've realized how good I had it growing up. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, my parents they modeled healthy behavior, and my mom, she was a stay-at-home mom with the four of us. I've got three younger brothers, and she really modeled healthy eating behavior. Like, she lived and breathed it. And, she wasn't the mom that told us what to do. She modeled and she displayed,
Mm-hmm.
healthy eating. And I remember just being involved in the kitchen, right? Like, she would get us involved early. Like, we were young,
Mm-hmm.
like we had a garden. We would be involved in making our lunches for the next day at school. We were involved in prep for dinner at a really young age, and always doing something outside. I mean, growing up in the country, like, we just all lived
Mm-hmm.
outside. But I see how valuable that is. And from the amount of conversations that I've had with people over the years, like I'm talking thousands and thousands of conversations with people, is that my childhood, that was a blessing. It was an absolute blessing that I grew up with parents who prioritized their health and modeled that behavior and
Mhm.
taught their kids how to live a healthy and balanced life. And I want to share that with people because the majority of my clients, Sophia, they come to me because they want to be that person for their family
Mhm.
as well. They want to show their kids and be that person that changes the trajectory for their entire family. And it's like women have the power to do that.
Mhm.
So does that answer your question? Because now I can't even remember.
Yeah. Yes, it did. I asked I asked how you came to be in the place that you're in, which yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Your parents modeled health. And in my line of work,
Yeah.
I work a lot with families. And one of the things that I ask people is like, what is your number one priority? And most people say their family, which like I get, but that is fantastic. Your number one priority is your family. That's fantastic. I feel like health should be everyone's one
Mm.
priority, but
Yeah.
we never think to comment on our own health as being our priority. Like,
That's a good point.
why do we think that is? Like, we will put our health off every day because we have to do something for someone in our family. What's
Yeah.
up with that?
I think a lot of it comes back to feeling like we're being selfish. And some deeper stuff too, feeling like you're not deserving of it or worthy of it. Um, yeah, it can get pretty deep and emotional there. But I find a lot of times for women, it's those three things: feeling selfish, feeling like how dare I take time for myself, um, yeah, not feeling like they're worth the time, um, and attention. And that is something that I help my clients with, is getting over that and recognizing that it's not selfish, it is self-care. You are caring for yourself, you're learning how to take care of you so you can be your best for everybody around you. And people are getting it. People are starting to get it. And it has such a ripple effect on everything, because it's kind of like getting on the airplane, right? And you see the women and like the men that are like, put your safety belt on first, or put your life jacket on first, and then help somebody else. Because at the end of the day, it's so true. You cannot pour from an empty glass. And like without your health, ah, you got nothing.
Can you imagine in an airplane and you have to put on life jackets and like you're taking a life jacket to the next person going, here, put this on, and they're going, hold on, and they're taking a life jacket, giving to the next person, here, put this on, and they're
Yeah.
saying, hold on, I got to give one to someone else.
Yeah.
That's a really great way for no one to get their life jacket on for sure.
Yeah. It's like, put your freaking life jacket on, like your life and
Yeah.
everybody around you, like their life depends on it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think too, it's a good example of the very real aspect that nobody, I'm just going to say this, but nobody's coming to save you.
Yeah.
Um, I find that something like it's that radical acceptance of, you have this beautiful opportunity of creating the life that you want for yourself. You have this beautiful opportunity of creating a healthy, vibrant, active lifestyle for yourself. It sucks that nobody's going to come save you, but on the other token, or the other side of that coin, I feel like that is quite empowering. It's like, hey, you know what? Like, this is my job. I get to take full charge here
Mm-hmm.
and create the life that I want for myself.
Yeah, for sure. So if you were to step in, they're struggling, they're not eating well, all of that fun stuff. They come to work with you. Like I have sat down with a dietitian before. Obviously, what you do is a little bit different than telling me that beans are going to help me reduce my bad cholesterol. All
Oh,
right.
yes,
So
yes.
what do
Yeah.
you do? Like you're a
Oh,
mindset coach in addition to helping people with nutrition. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I could totally be the girl that says, hey, did you know that beans lower your cholesterol? But in addition to that, it's like, okay, cool, but why does that matter? And how can I make that work with, your schedule, your lifestyle? And asking, I'll actually use that example, Sophia, but it's like, why are you looking to eat better? So if you wanted to lower your bad cholesterol, then sure, we can talk about beans. But it's also like, hey, Sophia, do you even like beans? Do you know how to cook with beans? What's stopping you from taking, a can of beans out of your pantry at the end of the day and using them in a recipe? So it's like getting into your head of like, what are all the things that are getting in the way from grabbing the beans at the grocery store and putting them in your mouth?
Yes, this is why I get canned beans.
That's right. So do I. Don't soak them. Man, it takes forever.
I don't think I've
So
ever successfully soaked beans now that I think about it. I have gotten dry beans. I think I've tried to soak them, and I think I then went, fuck this, and never did it again.
yeah.
We're taking a quick break, and while we do, I have a favor to ask you. Would you please take just a couple of moments to leave us a rating and a review in your podcast app of choice? Your feedback really goes a long way in helping us reach new people and also improve the podcast. So thanks very much. And we're back to the show.
Yeah. Perfect example, right?
Yeah.
So I would say, great. You want to fuck the beans? Like just put them on the back shelf. Let's not even go there. Let's buy the canned beans, maybe buy the ones with less salt. And here's some simple ways that you could use beans in your day to day. Have you ever considered throwing them into a chili? Have you ever considered throwing them in some beef burgers? Have you ever considered doing them in like a quinoa, lentil, Mediterranean salad? So that is just how my brain works when I work with my clients. Meeting you where you're at, figuring out what is getting in the way of you taking action towards your goals consistently.
Okay. Well, and we're getting ready for like New Year's here, although when this comes out, it will be slightly after New Year's. But I assume that everyone is going to be food tracking as of January 1st for probably 12 hours. How do we feel about food tracking? I have done it in the past, done well with it, but tend to like do it for like a few days. And then I'm like, okay, I have a handle on it. So like,
yeah,
I would think that it would not be super beneficial for most people long term to be measuring how much they're eating necessarily.
yeah,
But
yeah.
is this useful for people who are struggling, or is it just added stress? Like, how do we feel about food tracking?
Good question. I actually just recorded a podcast episode called Food Tracking, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Crazy.
So yeah, here's, you know what, we'll start with the good stuff. Hands down, tracking is a useful tool. It's a tool within your toolbox that can help you become much more aware of what's going in your mouth, because there is nothing better than writing things down, because it helps you think. You start thinking and you become aware of all those little bits and bytes that are going in the tank. Because I think a big thing here, Sophia, especially if you're just starting off with, your health and your nutrition, and, I help a lot of women with sustainable weight loss, is they, we just don't know how many, like what's going in the tank, don't know in terms of, quality calories or fiber or protein. So I find that tracking is a useful tool to collect data. So that is I find it's a very useful tool to become conscious and bring awareness to food choices, and especially in today's food environment, because I'll hear time and time again from clients who are like, oh my gosh, I went out to Boston Pizza and got whatever dish that was. Did you know, Leah, that there's 1,700 calories in that dish and like 3,000 milligrams of sodium? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
So I find it is a very useful tool to bring awareness to what you're choosing and also using that data to learn how your choices affect how you feel and how you function because
Mm-hmm.
a calorie is not a calorie in terms of how you feel and function. If you have 1,500 calories of a plate of nachos smothered in cheese, sour cream, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever else, versus 1,500 calories of lean proteins, fruits, vegetables, beans,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm. All the beans.
like whatever Greek yogurt, you are
Yeah.
going to feel and you are going to function very differently based on the breakdown of the quality of those calories. So that's
Mm-hmm.
a really good, I find tracking is very useful for that too, because you start to make associations with your choices and the
Mm-hmm.
consequence on how you feel and how your body functions.
Yeah.
So those are the
So
positives.
could you like should people, if they're going to like track what they're eating this year, maybe like keep a journal at the same time, like use the notes function in whatever app that you're tracking, like how
Yeah.
you felt, like did you feel bloated immediately after eating that, because that's
Yeah.
probably a sign.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
interesting.
Yeah, using the notes tab is great. Within my program, I like using a food and mood journal,
Mm-hmm.
like food, mood, and symptoms journal. So keeping an eye on, yeah, gas, bloating, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Also mood, how are you feeling today? Whereabouts are you
Yeah.
in your menstrual cycle?
Mm-hmm.
How hungry are you? And that's a big
Mm-hmm.
thing too, right? With tracking and paying attention to your hunger and your fullness, because a lot of times I'm helping my clients and teaching them how to tune in to their body's hunger and their fullness.
Mm-hmm.
Eating when you're hungry, how to stop at like 70% full,
Yeah.
and just having those, it's mindful eating, right? Why am I eating right now? Am I hungry?
Mm-hmm.
Am I thirsty? Am I bored? Am I
Mm-hmm.
eating just because this is super habitual and I'm scrolling on my phone at the same time as half paying attention to a show on Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that.
That's like
So,
my life.
yeah, I know.
Scrolling
Yeah.
through things on my phone while I'm half paying attention to Netflix.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Distracted living. Me too. I know I have my moments. Yeah.
So
So,
what's the bad then of the food tracking before anyone's like all gung ho and I'm going to track my food? It's
yeah.
sounding kind of like it's really good for people who might be analytical and might be able to
Mm,
like take that data and do something
yes.
with it.
Yes, very good point. Yeah, I was just going to say it's a really effective tool for people with very analytical minds, love numbers. Like I work with a lot of engineers and docs and,
Mhm.
like people in marketing love numbers, and it works like a
Yep.
dream for them. They love it. They enjoy doing that.
Mhm.
But then there's others that absolutely hate it. So, and this is also where the individualized approach with coaching comes into play. Like if you absolutely hate tracking, then, I'm not going to make you track. We'll bring awareness to what you're eating in a different way, like portions or something like that. But when it comes to the tracking, I do find that the slippery slope is making all those numbers mean something and internalizing them in a way that doesn't make you feel so good. So,
Mhm.
for example, feeling like you are bad, I'm like quote unquote
Mhm.
bad, or, off track because you went over a little bit on your calories that day. Getting into this funky headspace where you see that I don't know, had birthday cake and ice cream, and now you're over your sugar for the day. And then you start to internalize that as, oh man, I failed today,
Mhm.
like, and allowing that to derail your week and also derailing the use of the app as well.
Mhm.
And that's where I find the biggest challenge with the tracking is making those numbers mean something
Mm-hmm.
and internalizing it, negatively. And that's where I hear a lot. It's like, oh, I feel like I have this unhealthy relationship with my tracker. I want to have, more trust and faith in my body and making those good choices on my own versus relying on a tracker all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So that's what
Yeah.
I see.
Excellent. You've talked a little bit about how eating some foods will probably make you feel worse than eating other foods. So why don't we get into that part of the conversation? Because that was really the big piece that I wanted to talk to you about is just de-stressing food. So I know a lot
Okay.
of people when they're starting to get into eating more healthy, like especially with all the cravings and everything, like it could take a while to feel like you sort of have it together
Yeah.
that you're going to make the healthy choice. And I know a lot of people beat themselves up about
Yeah.
the food that they're eating, which just makes things worse. So
Yeah.
when we talk about how stress can affect your eating, how your eating can affect your stress levels,
Yeah.
how it's a cycle, all of that fun stuff.
Yeah. So, okay. So first part of that question was, how does stress affect your eating?
Yeah.
Stress affects your eating in a variety of ways, and it can affect people differently. Stress can absolutely squash your appetite. I talk to plenty of people and they're like, man, my anxiety, my stress is through the roof. I've got zero appetite. Hands down, it can do that to some people. And it could do the total opposite to others. Stress can amplify your impulsiveness. Stress can stress can amplify your cravings and really increase your appetite. And stress can affect our decision making capacity. So even though we know that having a chicken vegetable stir fry is the best choice coming home for dinner after a long day, but when you've had a crazy stressful day and your mind is absolutely tapped and you're exhausted, then stress can quickly change that thought process of, oh, yeah, I'm going to do chicken veg stir fry and say, oh, I'm so exhausted. I'm tired. I'm stressed out. Let's just go for the quick and easy. Let's grab pasta and tomato sauce.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how stress can affect, your appetite choices. And stress can affect your gut as well. Really
Mm-hmm.
affect your gut. And again, it can go both ways here, but I work with a lot of clients where stress can affect their gut by causing more gas, more bloating, more cramping, constipation, or the flip side, it can cause more diarrhea, loose stool, things like that. And yeah, just overall all gut health and ability to lose weight. So I see that a lot when women are really hot, when women are struggling with their stress. Cortisol levels are quite high. It can affect your body's ability to metabolize your food and to
Mm-hmm.
lose weight. So yeah, I could keep this combo going, but stress can cause a lot of changes within the body, not just at a physical level, but mental and emotional as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was going to say, well, no one is too happy when they have diarrhea. So
Nope. I know I'm not.
it's not a fun situation.
No, it's not. And constipation sucks too. Like,
Oh my God. Yeah.
let's be serious.
All that
Mhm.
bloating, cramping. Actually, I find stomach cramps are just like awful to deal with. Like you get
Yeah, they
stomach
are.
cramps and your whole day's ruined. You're just like, sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. How about
Yeah.
how food can cause stress or relieve stress? Like, are you seeing a lot of this in your line of work these days? Are people being more mindful about the foods that they're eating in an attempt to reduce the amount of stress that they're
Yeah.
experiencing? There's lots of trending mushrooms these days
Oh,
to give
yeah.
you energy and to calm you down and to all of that fun stuff,
Yeah.
among other
So,
foods. But mushrooms are very trendy right now.
yes, very
Yeah.
trendy. So, I'm going to give it to you straight here. I find that the biggest stressor around food is not having a plan around it.
Hmm.
And that is the case for, I would say, 98% of the people that I work with. When they say, like, man, I am so stressed out about food, I said, well, what exactly stresses you out about food? And the answer is, I feel like I'm scrambling. I'm frantic around food. I don't have a plan. There's nothing healthy prepped. So I just grab the quick and convenient thing. And then they feel guilty about doing that. So it's so interesting how as humans we think that it's such a complicated solution to something when in actuality the biggest thing that's going to help to reduce stress around food is having a bit of a plan around it. Pre-deciding, having some fresh prepped food in the house, or biting the bullet and getting some healthy food at the grocery store and stocking your fridge, enhancing your spaces, making healthy choice the easy choice, buying like little Greek yogurt cups and baby carrots and baby cucumbers and, rotisserie chicken, and keeping it in your fridge or your office fridge, or putting protein bars in your car so that you're not starving and then default and go into the drive-through at 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's probably not the expected answer, but bottom line, a lot of unnecessary stress around food comes from the lack of planning because it literally isn't even on the priority map. And majority of my clients think about food when it's too late, when they're absolutely starving, and then like we're done for. Because we don't make good decisions when we're starving. Our brain doesn't care. We want quick, fast, like give me a good sugar kick.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also how stress can affect your food choices. What is when you don't have a plan, when you're
Mm-hmm.
not, when you're not prepped, now you're even more stressed out and frantic. Then you layer in hunger. Oh my gosh, look out. Your brain doesn't care about what you're eating when you're starving. All it cares about is like, put it in my mouth right now. I need
Mm-hmm.
something. And it's much easier for us to go towards quick carbs, sugary things, something that gives us a quick energy kick, but
Mm-hmm.
leaves us in an energy slump like half an hour to an hour later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, I could see how that would just exacerbate stress.
For sure.
You don't have anything, you think, shit, now I have to go to McDonald's. I'm being
Mhm.
forced to go to McDonald's. Then you eat crap, and then you feel like crap, and then
Yeah.
probably feel stupid for making yourself have to go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that brings up a good point too, Sophia, because you know what? The drive-throughs, like that is also that's part of our life. And
Mhm.
it would be ridiculous to say, like, oh, I'm going on this healthy eating kick. I'm never gonna eat at the drive-through again. It's like,
Mhm.
don't make
Yeah.
don't kid yourself. And I had a conversation with a client the other day around, making the best choices at McDonald's,
Mhm.
because you know what? Stuff goes sideways all the time. You can plan as much as you want and prep, but life is still going to throw you a wrench. So, how do you make the best choice at Starbucks, Tim Hortons,
Mhm.
Wendy's, McDonald's? Um, and that is also how, I help my clients, is like doing a bit of a menu review. It's like, based on what you've got at McDonald's, what is the best choice? What's going to give you a little bit of fiber, some protein, less sodium,
Mhm.
less saturated fat, and make you feel okay when you leave the drive-through, both physically and mentally and
Yeah.
emotionally. Because yeah, like it's being real with yourself and recognizing like the drive-through is not going to kill your progress, making the best decision based on the circumstance.
Mhm. And are there options at different fast food places that are like not terrible?
Yeah.
Or yeah, and like
Yeah.
multiple options, so not like there's
I
one thing at
mean,
McDonald's you can eat, like
there's a couple. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, there's definitely a couple. Yeah. Yeah. Majority of it, not so great, but I mean,
I,
there's a few.
yeah.
There's a few options.
Yeah, for sure. That's
Mm.
awesome. Do you have any foods that are like, do you have like a list of hell no foods? Like, do not eat this. This is bad.
It's,
Like vegetable oils. Are we avoiding vegetable oils? Because the internet's telling me to avoid vegetable oils and
I
seed oil.
know the internet tells us a lot of things, and I think that's
Yes.
what that's what also is an extra layer of the stress around food, right? Is like the
Mhm.
misinformation and the confusion. And we get all in a flap and overwhelmed and stressed out when we don't feel confident in our food
Yeah.
choices.
Hmm.
So, hell no foods for me. I know it's funny. I saw that question and I was like, are there hell no foods for me? To be honest with you, there's some things that I would never buy at the grocery store, like bologna, for example.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of the like cured meats and stuff like that. You start looking at nitrates and
Hmm.
really high sodium and the preservatives and things like that. Um, oh, I did a post the other day about those muffins that you can buy at the grocery store in the
Hmm.
bakery, like those packaged muffins, or like you're basically eating cake.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect.
to perfect. Yeah. So to me personally, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying around, you know, being mindful and learning how your food choices affect how you feel, your function, your cravings, all that stuff. I would not personally buy those cakey muffins because those 450 calories are not worth it to me, because I know that it's straight sugar, because I know it's not serving my body in any
Yeah.
way. So that's why I wouldn't buy it. Yeah, cakey muffins, bologna, oh, cheese whiz. I know it just screams nostalgia, but it also, screams a bunch of other things. Um, what else? I do have some vegetable oils. Like I've got what do I have in my house? Like I love olive oil though. Like I cook with
Oh yeah.
olive oil. I've got avocado oil. I've got I do vegetable oil in some baking. Um, but a lot of things that I wouldn't buy would be a lot of the sugar sweetened
Hmm.
things, like sugar sweetened beverages. That's a sneaky one. They
Hmm.
can add up so fast, the sugar sweetened beverages. Um, yeah.
What about
I'll have to
like
make a
the,
list of hell no
yeah,
foods.
yeah. What about like
Mhm.
the artificial sweetener stuff?
Yeah, artificial sweetener stuff. I mean, we're still getting some research on it, but at the end of the day, you'd have to consume a lot of
Mhm.
artificial sweeteners to, hit that upper tolerable level. And honestly, everybody responds a little bit differently to artificial sweeteners. I mean, I work with some women and they're like, I can handle a bit of artificial sweetener in whatever, like their baking or coffee or whatever, and they're totally fine with it. And other people are like, oh man, like I'm getting some gas and bloating and this just doesn't sit well with
Interesting.
me. Um, yeah, so and even I had this question the other day, like Mio, right? The little squirts of Mio with
Yeah.
the artificial sweeteners. Like you can see right here, I've put a couple squirts of
Yeah.
Mio in my water. Um, and honestly, to put it into perspective, upper tolerable level, even for aspartame, right? You'd have to drink 40 liters of Diet Coke in a day to get to that upper tolerable level of artificial sweeteners.
I don't think
So I
I've
mean,
ever consumed that much Coke in my
no,
life.
no, me neither.
Pop. I
Well,
haven't
I don't
consumed that
know.
much
Maybe.
pop.
So, I mean, bottom line, I think that we stress too much around, it's like, oh my gosh, I have a food with a bit of artificial sweetener. And it's like, you know what? Take a breath. It's okay. It's not going to kill you. A little bit of artificial sweetener is not going to kill you. Um, it's really looking at quantity, volume, like how much you're having, because it's, I know it's so generic to say, but it really does come down to the balance and the moderation
Mhm.
of things.
I assume moderation will be like the word of this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It is now.
You're always told this like your entire life, everyone, with regards to nutrition, is moderation is the key. And then I think you become an adult. And for a lot of people, like if you're wanting to change things in your life, you go to the internet and start researching, and you can, in 5 seconds flat, find two interpretations of the same study saying
Yeah.
conflicting things. So
Yeah.
I can totally see how people get overwhelmed and confused and not know what the heck to do with all this. Speaking of studies,
Yeah.
alcohol.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about alcohol.
Alcohol. Good time of year to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Are we feeling good about alcohol? Are we feeling bad about alcohol? I think alcohol companies are not going to be happy with recent research because it would
Yes.
appear to be a bunch of people are getting off the alcohol train. So,
Yeah, they are, myself included, actually.
nice.
Um, yeah, so this new research study,
Mhm.
uh, it's now sharing that less is more in terms of alcohol, and you know, two standard drinks for women a week,
Mhm.
3 standard drinks for men a week, which is significantly less than a lot of us are consuming.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've said this so many times to my girlfriends, but like there's a lot of functioning alcoholics
Oh
around
my, so
in
many.
this area and everywhere else. But when I find it so interesting when I ask the question, it's like, all right, like how much alcohol are you drinking on a regular basis? Like no judgment here, right? And then I'll get a answer of like, I don't know, maybe like 3, 4 drinks a week. And then I say, okay, so you think you're having 3 to 4 drinks a week. I want to challenge you to track how much alcohol you drink on a regular week. And the number, could be triple that. So I think a big thing is that we're not aware. We don't even realize how much we're drinking. And like, honestly, that can go for food too. But
Oh
when
yeah.
you start paying attention and tracking and writing down how many beverages you're having, or you want an easy way to go figure it out, go check your green or go check your blue bin at the end of the week. How many bottles of wine are there? How many cans of empty beer are there? That's a great way to see. It's like, oh shit, like I just blew through 4 bottles of wine this week. So the recycle bin doesn't lie.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, the new recommendations is less is more. And to be honest with you, well, let me ask you this, Sophia, is there any specific questions that you have around alcohol or I don't know, was there like anything intriguing about that research study to you?
Well, the health implications are really interesting, given that for the longest time in with different types of drinks, alcoholic drinks, they've been commenting on the health benefits of it. And now, like, well, it's doing more damage than it's doing you good. So maybe
Yeah.
don't drink it. Obviously, people have talked for a long time about alcohol and weight loss and, the number of calories that you're consuming in drinks. And like, that's all well and good. But it sounds like health wise, you
Yeah.
generally should avoid drinking it. And even besides the addictive part of it, because you're right, I think there is a lot of functioning alcoholics in the world. A lot
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah. And I think too, just the awareness of how alcohol affects you, like head to toe. And it's not like health for sure, but here's where it comes down to like the practical level. And I like to say it's like, so who cares? Like if you're drinking alcohol, why does it matter to you? And the answer that I get time and time again from, people that I'm working with, they start to recognize how alcohol affects their sleep quality.
Okay.
So we think, and I hear this all the time, that, oh, alcohol makes me sleep better. That is not a thing. Sure, it knocks your socks off when you go to bed. You can pass out real hard,
Yeah.
but you're going to have a poor quality sleep. You're not in that deep sleep. You are getting crap quality sleep.
Mhm.
So And then you wake up in the morning and you're dragging your tail. You feel groggy. You feel sluggish. Your brain fog is ridiculous. And you feel like your day is a total write off. And sure, you know what? When we're 20, great. We had nothing else to do on a Saturday or Sunday, so we could do that. But,
Yeah.
like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, beyond, you got shit to do. And it's not worse waking up feeling like garbage and having a hangover. Our body. So sleep is a big one
Yeah.
because when you don't get quality sleep, it also starts to wreak havoc on your appetite and
Mhm.
your weight regulating hormones. When you're under rested, you make crap decisions. We feel it all the time. We have our like when we're under rested too, we have more cravings. So we're craving more sugar and salt and quick stuff.
Mhm.
So alcohol really affects your sleep negatively. It also affects inflammation within your body because alcohol is seen as a foreign substance in your body.
Mhm.
It's not supposed to be there.
Mhm.
So when you consume any type of alcohol, your body is like, oh, okay, cool. There's that foreign something. Let's prioritize metabolizing that, getting it out of our system ASAP. And when people drink a lot of alcohol, it can cause, it can cause a bunch of things, but like inflammation, fatty liver disease, some heart disease, things like that, elevates risk of developing certain types of cancer. So there's a lot of things that are going on, but on a day-to-day basis, I think the biggest feels that come
Mhm.
from drinking less alcohol is you start to feel it in your sleep quality, your brain function, your productivity, your stamina. Um, Yeah, and also your waistline.
Mhm.
So yes, those are the biggest things that or the biggest conversations that I have around alcohol.
So everyone just quit drinking.
Did they though?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised by how many people are actually going, "Oh, okay, I'm going to stop drinking." I'm like, really?
Yeah,
I'm kind of surprised. It's great,
yeah,
but I'm surprised.
yeah. Yeah, and like a lot of people that I work with, I would say it's like half and half, because some are totally cool with giving up alcohol, right? And it's nice because we have so many options that are available to us that are non-alcoholic. You go to the liquor store now and yeah, somebody's like, hey, point me in the direction of like, non-alcoholic bevies. There's so many to choose from now. So it is easy. It's much easier to go alcohol free these days. Or, being the person that shows up with a liter of Perrier at the party, right? So there's that. Or there's the other, crew of people that are like, I'm not okay with giving up alcohol altogether. I'm like, fine, that's totally cool because it's your life that
Mhm.
you're living. But in terms of the information that you have around its effects on your health and how you feel and how you're functioning, your goals and blah, 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 like how open are you to making some tweaks? So instead of drinking, say 7 to 8 bevies a week, are you cool to dial that back a little
Mhm.
bit? So it's all about these little modifications that can give you some really great outcomes.
Yeah.
You don't have to cut it out completely. And I think that's where so many of us go wrong. It's like, oh, New Year's, better get on a healthy eating kick. And then you
Mhm.
feel like you have to eat vegetables, fruit, and chicken all day long, no alcohol, and just drink water. Like, who is going to stick with that for more than 3 days? Like, not 99% of the population. So
Exactly.
that mindset is setting you up for failure big time.
So now we're going to get into motivation then. I guess we're going
Okay.
to start with you're going to come up with a plan where you don't quit everything cold turkey all at once because
Yeah.
that'll last 3 days. Yeah, no, I've definitely experienced that sort of stuff myself. Uh,
Yeah.
just quitting everything all at the same time does not work
No, it
particularly well.
doesn't.
No.
It
So
doesn't.
before we get unmotivated, I assume we sort of build ourselves up. Guessing. Work our
Yes.
way up to it. Yeah.
And sorry, what are you asking here, Sophia, about building
Yeah.
motivation?
Yeah, what do we do when we're just not feeling motivated? Aside from
Okay.
like, I think you're probably going to say, like, if you feel like crap one day and you really want to go get Harvey's, go get Harvey's. Um, and then don't beat yourself up about it the next day because that's not doing yourself any good. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
go back to
Here,
eating healthy.
yeah. Yeah. Motivation is a very interesting word.
Yep.
And here's what I've learned. Here's what I've learned about motivation because I've had to really use this within my business because it's not like anything that you are working towards and anything that doesn't have a finish line. Like your health does not have a finish line. Building a
Mhm.
business does not have a finish line.
Mhm.
So how do you quote unquote stay motivated when there's really no finish line? And you're not going to stay motivated. Like that is the real hard truth. You're not going to feel motivated every day. Did I feel motivated to bang out 6 pieces of content yesterday? Hell no. But guess where motivation comes from? Motivation is a byproduct of you taking action in any capacity. So this is kind of like the secret sauce to creating motivation. Like you have the power to build your own motivation by taking just a simple step. So when you're feeling in a funk, this is what I asked myself. Because the other day, like I was in a funk, I was feeling unmotivated. I was feeling like a little bit like, nah. So when I'm feeling like that, like name it, be like, okay, yeah, I'm not feeling so motivated. Well, why am I not feeling motivated? What have I slowed down or what have I stopped doing? Because that's why you're feeling unmotivated. Because anytime, like if I were to ask you, like, Sophia, what were you doing? Like, when were you feeling motivated? Like, what were you doing? Your answer is probably like, well, I was eating well. I was getting to the gym. I was drinking my water. You were doing the things. You were taking the action. You were taking action.
Mhm.
You were building your own motivation because you were taking action towards these things that you said you wanted to do. And when we slow down or when we stop taking those actions, well, then our motivation goes down with it. Because humans, we often think that we make this massive error and we wait around to feel motivated in order to do something when that is literally sucking your soul. Like it's not going to do anything for you. You have to think, if I'm not feeling motivated right now, then I get to just take one little step. I'm going to get my butt into the kitchen and cut up that cucumber. That is taking action. I am maybe not feeling like fully motivated to do a 50-minute HIIT workout, but I know that I can get my ass out the door and do a 15-minute walk down the trail. That's action taking. You're creating your own motivation because you're taking action.
Mhm. That's good. I like it.
I get all fired up about that subject, as you can tell.
No, that's
But
a good one. I like that.
yeah, motivation is not going to be there every day. You're kidding yourself if you think that it's going to be there. You have to rely on that dedication and the devotion to yourself and your goals, and remind yourself that you can feel unmotivated, but you are more powerful than your feels. You can feel unmotivated and still take action. And I think that's what a lot of us need to be reminded of, myself included. You can feel unmotivated, but who cares? Guess what? You can still take action. You can still get your ass out the door. You can still go to the grocery store and get a healthy lunch. You can still cut up some vegetables, even when you feel unmotivated.
I like
You
that.
can do that.
I like that one.
Mm, so do I. I use that a lot for
I bet.
myself. Yeah,
I
for
bet.
myself. Yeah.
What do you want people to know going into 2024 when they're feeling very motivated right now about their New Year's resolutions?
Yeah.
Um, Other than just taking a small step every day, what do you want people to know?
Good question. I want people to know that you can recalibrate at any time.
Mhm.
We put so much pressure on ourselves to do things just so. And I think a lot of women and people that I work with, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners get old A-type personalities, and we
Mhm.
strive for perfection. But perfection, it's gonna stop you. Yeah, it's just gonna stop you. So stop aiming for perfection and aim for progression, because that's what it's all about. It's that 1 degree of change. And please give yourself permission to press the recalibrate button when, not if,
Mhm.
when you have a day or an event where you overindulge, whatever, like you're human. Two
Mhm.
nights ago, I ate more ginger sparkler cookies than I would like to admit to. But what I didn't do the next day is like, oh my gosh, I'm so ridiculous. Like, I ate more cookies. I shouldn't have done that. Why? You get yourself all in a flap, and
Mhm.
then you stay in this funky headspace, and it's that headspace, that mental, or that mindset and attitude, that's the thing that derails you, because you tell yourself, shit, failed, the rest of the week's a write-off, I'm going to restart
Mhm.
on Monday. Mm-mm. That
Yeah.
mindset totally sucks. So give yourself permission to forgive yourself, meet you where you're at, and
Mhm.
say, I get to make the decision right now to press the recalibrate button instead of hitting the
Mhm.
fuck it's.
Mhm.
Because that's what so many of us do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So that is my thing going into 2024. Give yourself permission to hit recalibrate. It could be multiple times a day, multiple times a week. You're not going to fail if you don't keep trying. And I think
True.
so many of us are fearful of failure, right? We don't want to let ourselves down. And you're you're not going to fail if you keep trying, if you keep going. And that mentality and that attitude is going to serve you so well, because like I just said, like your health and your weight loss journey, there is no endpoint. There's no finish line. It's a continuum. It's something to maintain over time.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
no It's not 3 months, cool, let's bang out this program, I'm done. It's like like
Yeah.
this is long haul stuff.
Oh my goodness. That just made me think about bodybuilders and steroids. Um,
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've all seen our
uh,
fair share of those.
oh my goodness. All right. So what should people know about working with you? Do you work mostly with your clients online?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah. Yeah, good
Yeah.
question. So I own a virtual coaching business. So yeah, all my coaching is done virtually. I work with people from all over the world, and you can find me on Instagram at Leah Vandolder, my website, leahvandolder.com. But yeah, I've got a coaching program. It is like I call it's long term. It's long term lifestyle coaching, and people can tell from me because I am just being my true, authentic self. Like,
Mhm.
I don't sugarcoat things. I
Mhm.
give people real, honest, like practical advice,
Mhm.
guidance, and feedback. And I meet you where you're at. So that's the kind of coach that you get when you work with me, and somebody who's been doing this for a decade.
Mhm.
So yeah. Um, but it's all virtual coaching. You get a community. I do pre-recorded training videos, so when you work with me, not
Nice.
just get access to me one to one, but
Mhm.
you also get additional resources and things that help you, not with like just with the education piece, and um you know inspirational recipes, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's awesome.
Thank you.
All right. And do you have a ridiculously happy moment for us?
Ridiculously happy moment. I remember you saying it could be big or small, but what's making me happy these days is I'm working towards creating a women's health and wealth summit
Mm.
in March. And yeah, it's been really good. It scares me a bit.
Yes.
Something when you say yes to and you're like, this is exciting, but it also, terrifies me all at once. This is what's going on. Um, And happiness is just it's the process of going through that. So that has been awesome. And what makes me happy is I honestly like my clients. My clients make me
Mhm.
so happy, and seeing how their life drastically changes when they start to prioritize themselves and take care of themselves.
Mhm.
Like there's nothing that makes me happier, Sophia. It's just amazing. Um, yeah. So it's a really powerful thing to see, and I feel very grateful and honored and quite privileged to be able to do the work that I do. Um, yeah, because I'm just able to kind of get into their life and really transform it along with them. And yeah, that's what makes me happy.
That's amazing. That's awesome. All right. And
And
can you
you? What about
please?
you?
Oh yeah,
What's been making you
my
happy?
I have now hit 1 month of working out every day.
Good for you.
Back on the working out train.
Not a girl.
It was hard. It was hard to get back on the train, but it's going well.
Yeah. But you
Yeah.
did it regardless of
Yeah.
how you felt, right? You were feeling like it was hard, but you did it
That's right.
anyway.
That's right. It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So I'm feeling very good about that. So
that's
yay.
awesome.
I exercise again. That's good. All right.
That's great, Sophia. Good job.
Thank
There,
you.
you're inspiring people to really rethink about their own movement and exercise
Mhm.
regime.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can you please remind us where people can find you?
Yeah, people can find me a variety of ways. Instagram, my handle is Leah Vandolder. I'm on there every day. Lots of great nutrition, mindset, lifestyle. You get me, the real deal, LVD, Leah Vandolder. And they can find me too on my website, leahvandolder.com. And I also have a podcast on Apple, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, and it's called the Reclaim Podcast.
And I'm going to link that in the show notes, by the way.
Awesome.
If you have all these
Awesome.
questions after listening to this one, then go listen to that one because
Yes, that's
questions
right.
will be answered.
Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome. And I am Sophia Levin, and I photograph ridiculously happy people. You can find me on Instagram at ridiculously happy people, and that is PPL. On Facebook and on Pinterest and at sophialevin.com. And if you want to hear your own ridiculously happy moment on the podcast, you can go to happyp.pl/moment to record it, or you can watch for the prompts on social media. Thanks for sharing, subscribing, and rating the show. Everything you do helps us spread this ridiculously happy movement and hopefully get people eating better. I don't know, maybe. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.